and welcome to those of you new to my channel. My name is Tati. Welcome back to those of you who have practiced with me before. You won't need any props for today except for your yoga mat, a quiet place, and if you are using a block in your normal practice for poses like triangle pose, then feel free to have one nearby, but you don't need it, and I won't be cueing any props in today's class. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and just hit that subscribe button, click the notification icon so as not to miss any new classes which are released every Sunday. And it really is a great way to support my channel, my work. If you like the class, give it a thumbs up, and of course feel free to share the video. I've also created my first website, tativonyoga.com, where you can find more classes. If you're doing my yoga nidra classes, you'll find those there and you can watch them ad-free, as well as some articles on yoga and how to improve your yoga home practice. With that, I'd say let's get started in a comfortable cross-legged position on your mat. So finding a nice tall spine, resting the hands on the knees, relaxing the shoulders, softening the gaze, or perhaps blinking the eyes closed, tuning in with the sensation of the breath flowing in and out through the nose. Landing in your practice, letting go of any thoughts about the past or the future. Just arriving in your practice now. This is a special bit of time that you've carved out just for yourself. And then gently blinking open the eyes. Inhale, taking a nice deep breath and sweeping the arms up, gazing up towards the fingertips. And exhale, swimming the arms all the way down, fingers rest on the mat. Inhale, stretching the arms up, finding length. And exhale, releasing the fingers back to the mat. One more time. Inhale, length. And exhale, cactus, open the arms, so bending at the elbows, forming this goalpost shape. Elbows are in a straight line, palms facing forward. Breathing in, starting to fire up the arm and shoulder muscles. And then turning over to the left, so rotating the chest forward. And exhale over to the other side. Breathing in and exhale, left. Flowing over to the right. And one more on each side. And finding back through center, stretching the arms up. And exhale, right hand onto left knee, left arm stretches up, and then floating behind you. So tenting the fingers up on the mat behind you, finding length. And if you can't quite reach the floor, you can always place the left hand onto the left hip. You want to be sinking the hip bones down, spiraling the chest towards the left. And then exhale, unwinding the twist, sweeping both arms back up. Exhale, left hand onto right knee. Inhale, stretch that right finger up, and exhale, floating the right fingers behind you on the mat, twisting open to the right side. So finding that spaciousness across the chest, a gentle squeeze in the lower back and the internal organs. Finding space and releasing back through center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, palms to touch, bringing the hands through heart center and prayer. Placing the hands on the knees and then rounding the spine. So you sucking the belly in, rounding the spine, chin is slightly tucked. And then exhale, reversing the direction of the spine. So chest peels forward, bending the elbows, rounding and flowing between these two versions of seated cat-cow, using the breath as a guide. And feeling into the sensations in the spine. Maybe you're feeling this in the hips, the shoulders, releasing back through center, and then drawing circles with the chest. So as slowly as you like, drawing these big circles, leaning backwards, left, forward, to the right and back. You can bend at the elbows as much as you like, bringing the chest forward, or you can keep the circles small, rotating in the other direction now. I heard a big knack in my hip joint. So know that that's totally fine, warming up all the joints and muscles in the body. If, like me, you're practicing this first thing in the morning, we want to warm up the body before we start practicing. And then releasing the rotations, finding back through center and forming little, I guess, claws with the fingers. So you're just bending the hands and then gently tapping with the fingertips on the chest. Tap, tap, tap along the collarbone, from the shoulders to the center, the sternum. Tap, 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 tap. This is an excellent way to activate the vagus nerve, which stimulates our rest and digest nervous system. So even though we'll be flowing through some more energetic poses, we don't want that excess stress that might be caused from other parts of our day. And then when you're done tapping, releasing, taking the index fingers and very gently pressing the temples. So that soft little spot to the side of each eye. Just very gentle pressure. You really don't want to be putting too much on this point. Maybe drawing tiny circles with the fingers. And releasing, finding your way into a standing position now. So we're going to have the feet wider than hip width distance, parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then inhale, lifting the arms wide in this 5-pointed star pose, opening that chest, bringing a big smile to your face, breathing in to lengthen. And then exhale, grasping the left wrist with the right hand. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, leaning over to the right side. So think about pressing your weight into the left foot and tilting the hips towards the left for a bit of a counterweight. Finding that stretch, breathing in. And exhale, release. Toes point out, heels point in, and sitting down into goddess squat. So you're sitting low, bending the knees, the arms bend at the elbows to form that nice goalpost that we did in our warm-up. Nice stable foundation, rooting through the toes. Here for 2 more breaths. Feeling those quads fire up. And exhale, releasing the hands. Left foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Right toes point forward. So you're setting yourself up for triangle. Inhale, arms straighten in a nice straight line. And then pivoting forward. So pressing the left hip back, right hip forward, keeping that nice straight line in the front of the body. Leaning the arm forward and You can bring your left hand onto your left hip and place the right hand on the shin, the ankle. If you're using a block, you can place it on a block onto the mat. And then lifting the left arm, if this is in your practice, taking care not to strain the neck. If you want to take it a bit further, gazing up towards the left hand or looking towards the ground for added stability. Breathing in and exhale, bringing the left hand down, bending into the right knee, and then walking the left foot so that it points forward. The feet are like they're on train tracks, so the left and right foot, squaring off the hips, and then leaning over into pyramid pose. So if you have your blocks, you can place them on the blocks. If you can't quite reach the ground, you can always keep a little bend in the right knee or keep the hands on the hips. Otherwise, inhaling to find a nice flat back, lifting the chest, and exhale, folding over that right leg. Making sure to keep the hips squared to the front of the mat. And then from here, bending into the right knee slightly, stepping the left foot back. So you're finding this high lunge just briefly so we can lower the left knee, untucking the left toes, and then inhale, sweeping the arms up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Sinking a little bit deeper into that left hip. Remembering to let the shoulders sink away from the ears. We don't want them hunched up. Finding length. And exhale from here, framing the front foot, tucking the left toes, finding into a high lunge just briefly, and then pivoting the left foot out. So you're in kind of a warrior two base with your hands on the mat. Maybe that's as far as you can go today, but otherwise bending deeply, as deep as you can into the right knee, the left foot, the toes will point up. Finding into skandasana, hands can be on the mat for support or bringing the palms together, pressing the right elbow into the right knee to open up the hips. And don't worry if your heel is off the mat, that's completely fine. Breathing in, you're feeling that stretch. And exhale, placing the hands on the mat. Walking the feet a little bit closer together and sitting the heels all the way down into yogi squat, malasana. Palms press against one another. Again, if you're using a block, you can sit on the block to lift the hips. You can keep the heels raised. Listen to your body and form whatever shape your body is able to do today. And then from here, placing the hands on the mat for stability, walking the legs further apart, stretching that right foot out now. So the toes of the right foot are pointing up, bending deeply into the left knee, hands on the mat, or finding skandasana on the left side. And as you can see here, when I do this on the right side, my heel is on the mat, and when I do it on the left side, my left heel is raised, and that's totally fine. Our bodies aren't completely equal on each side of the body, so clearly there's some kind of imbalance in my left and right hip joints. And breathing in and out here. And then placing the hands on the mat, pivoting to the back of the mat now, lowering the right knee, finding into low lunge, untucking the right toes, hips are squared, inhale, lifting the arms up. Sinking into that right hip. Really try to find length in the fingertips. This nice, stable, firm base. And the lightness and spaciousness created with the arms floating in space. Exhale, planting the palms, tucking the right toes, and then bending into the left knee. You can jump yourself forward or in one go, stepping that right foot a little bit closer, finding into pyramid. So again, hips are squared, feet are like on rail tracks. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, folding the body over pyramid pose. Remembering to breathe. And then inhale, slowly bending into the left knee, lifting yourself up, rotating the right foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left toes point towards the back of the mat. Inhale, lifting the arms. The chest is nice and open. Then tilting the hips. Right hip back, left hip back. And then finding into triangle pose. Left hand wherever it finds its way. Right hand on the hip. Gazing up towards the sky. And let me know if you're one of those who loves a triangle pose or if you can't stand this pose. I personally am a big fan of triangle pose, but I know that not everyone loves this little guy. And then releasing the upper arm, bending into the left knee, raising all the way up, finding into goddess squat. Hands resting on the knees this time. And we're going to challenge our balance a little bit. So lifting the left heel up off the mat, lowering the heel. Inhale, right heel off the mat. Exhale, one more on each side. And then inhale, maybe trying lifting both heels up off the mat. You might want to stretch out the arms, maybe finding back into that cactus shape. You can bring your hands in prayer. Lots of options here, maybe trying out everything, distracting yourself from the burning sensation in your thighs. And maybe your calf muscles is also an excellent way to strengthen the feet. And exhale, releasing, walking the feet a little bit closer together so they're slightly wider than hip width distance. Inhaling the arms up, left hand grasped right wrist. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, bending over towards the left side. So we're making shapes with the body today. I wasn't really sure what shape this was, maybe a small letter R, but let me know if there's a very obvious letter that I'm missing, which shape we're currently creating. And releasing, inhale, sweeping the arms up, finding into that star pose, feeling the energy flow through the body. And exhale, release, shaking out the arms and the legs. And then finding into mountain pose, big toes together, heels slightly apart. Finding that nice tall spine so the pelvis is slightly tilted forward. Rooting the feet into the earth. So sensing that point of contact with the toes. Slowing the breath. Closing down the eyes. And then exhale, walking the feet hip width distance apart and folding forward into Uttanasana, forward fold, so you can keep a deep bend in the knee if that helps your chest come towards your thigh. Either placing the hands on the mat in front of you or grasping opposite elbows. You're welcome to sway from side to side, releasing tension in the backs of the legs and the lower back.
Letting the head hang heavy so the chin draws and tucks towards the chest. And then very slowly lowering yourself all the way down onto the mat. I'm going to do one final stretch. So opening up the legs as far as is comfortable. If you don't want to do a deep stretch today, you can always place the feet hip-width distance apart with a nice deep bend in the knees, and then wrapping the arms underneath the body, surrounding the upper spine. And if you do want to practice our saddle stretch, you can open up the legs as far as is comfortable. Toes are pointing up, nice tall spine. Breathing in. Option to stay here or place the hands in front of you and walk forward as far as feels comfortable for you today. And think about releasing with every exhalation. And then slowly walking your way back up, very gently bending the knees. They might feel a bit tender, walking them to bend, placing the hands next to the hips, and then windscreen wipering the knees from one side to the other to release any tension in the lower back. And then rolling all the way onto the back, hugging the knees into the chest, rocking gently from side to side. You're welcome to stretch the legs up into the sky along with the arms, rotating out the wrists and the ankle joints. It's always one of those little mind exercises where you try rotate each joint in a different direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. And then finding stillness, sinking those shoulders into the earth. Hugging the knees back into the chest, finding happy baby. So bending into the knees, grasping the inside edges of the feet. You're welcome to rock from side to side if you want to massage out the lower spine, or you can remain static, choosing what works best for you today. And then releasing with a deep exhalation, stretching the arms and legs out alongside the body. Finding into our final resting pose, where we integrate all of the good work that we did during our practice. So if you're tempted to skip this relaxation part, I really encourage you to stay. Resting is just important as doing. Tuning in with the sensation of your breath. And I will call us back when it's time to awaken. Starting to notice the sounds in the room around you, the shape of the body on the earth, wriggling the fingers and the toes, bringing some movement back into the body, stretching those arms up and overhead, finding length, and then exhale, rolling over onto your favorite side, into a little fetal position. Just lingering here one more moment. And then in your own time, pressing yourself all the way up into a comfortable seated position, keeping the gaze soft, resting the hands on the knees. And taking a moment to thank yourself for making the time to do something beneficial for your mind, body, and spirit. Bringing the hands to prayer. Namaste. Thank you so very much for practicing, and let me know what letter that little side bend shape is. I think it's a little R, a little letter R, yes, a small letter R, but maybe not. Let me know in the comments. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that, like the video, and I can't wait to see you in the next class. All my love.